After everything that's happened on Monday Night Raw, I have some thoughts for the future. Now, this is again just my opinion. I think this is what I think of the storyline might be moving forward, what might happen, what's actually going to happen, stuff like that. So please make sure to share your thoughts down below. Check out my Raw review if you're interested in my whole opinions of the show tonight. But yeah, let's get into it. Now, if you're somehow unaware, Bron Breakker just turned on Seth Rollins and the rest of the division joined him. Now, what does this mean for the future? Of course, this was a big moment, really big pop, and it seems like Seth Rollins might be joining the War Games team of babyfaces, but let's start just a little bit before that. I wouldn't be surprised if next week this is all that Raw talks about. That wouldn't be surprising to me at all. Not even SmackDown. If the next SmackDown, this is the main talking point, I wouldn't be surprised. Because this is one of the biggest things that's happened this year. And this year has not been lacking big things, but this is such a big thing because it happened way too soon, in my opinion. But that's what makes it so great again, because it makes us excited. We didn't expect it. We expected the Vision to be like a thing for a year or two and then break up. Then Bron Breakker turns on Seth Rollins because that was the expected part. We all expected Bron Breakker to turn on Seth Rollins. Not this soon. So this really makes a lot of doors just get opened immediately. Now, I think the Vision is going to continue their work from now on. I do think that Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, and Bron Breakker are going to stay together as Vision because that was kind of implied at the end of the match where all of them kind of stuck together. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get another couple of members. Maybe a Tony D'Angelo, maybe an Austin Theory, although Austin Theory right now doesn't make much sense. Why does he not make much sense? Because he's a babyface. Once he comes back, he's definitely gonna be a babyface. So unless Seth Rollins wants to create a new faction, maybe a babyface faction, that could work. That really could work with Austin Theory in there. But him joining Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed just doesn't make much sense in my head. But what is next for Seth Rollins, talking about him? And I think what's next for him is just title defense next week or two. I'm not sure when he's defending the championship against CM Punk. I kind of missed that. I think it's going to be at Saturday night's main event, and Bron Breakker might be added to that situation. Who knows what will happen, because again, this was just such a surprise. My own thoughts is that Bron Breakker should now be the biggest heel in the company. By far the biggest heel, because he has the momentum. He has everything right now. He should be the last match of John Cena, which is a video I'm going to make this week. I really think he should, because that will really make him the next big thing and the next big heel. He's the Vision. He is the future. He is everything. And to make that come true, he needs to beat John Cena. He needs to kill the past and move into the future. I think it would just make most sense. Also, Cena is mostly on Raw from now on, so that makes sense as well, why they put him on Raw instead of SmackDown. So again, I'm really interested in if that is going to happen. But whatever the case may be, Seth Rollins is, I think, going to be a tweener for a little bit. For all of you who don't know what a tweener is, it's kind of not a babyface, not a heel, because he was acting like a babyface during this episode especially, but he is still technically a heel because his biggest rivalries right now are all faces. So it doesn't make much sense for the main event not to matter, because the main event was the number one contendership match between all the people who hate Seth Rollins so much. And now he's supposed to be joining them all of a sudden. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think Seth Rollins is gonna fall into a deep depression because he was so happy with the Vision in this episode. He was saying that the three things he's grateful for in his life are his wife, his kids, and B&B security. And now he doesn't have it anymore. I think he's really going to fall into a deep depression. Everything he's worked for just to be turned against him like this. So I think he's gonna be a depressed tweener right now. I think he's going to lose the championship, probably to Bron Breakker, and he's just going to fall off for a little bit. Either that or he's going to join the War Games match on the side of the faces, but just that doesn't make much sense. I don't think Roman Reigns would align himself with Seth Rollins. I don't think CM Punk would align himself with Seth Rollins. I don't think that Jey Uso would do that. I don't think LA Knight would do that. Maybe only Jimmy Uso would do that, but who knows? Because those are the baby faces, the big baby faces. John Cena would do that, of course. I don't think John Cena cares much. But still, like, I just don't think it would make much sense for him to be in the War Games match at all. What might happen is that he has a one-on-one match at War Games with Bron Breakker. That might be the time where he loses the championship, I'm not sure, but then that would mean that Bron Breakker isn't going to be in the War Games match, so that's complicated. But I think Seth Rollins from now on has to lose the championship and then find his own way. Find a way to make himself the vision, to make himself the future without necessarily trying to rely on other talent, because that's what he's been doing also in the last match. He was like, I'm not going to rely on BMB, I'm going to rely on myself. I am great, I know that I am great. And I think he needs to continue doing that. There's also one more really weird theory that I have, is that I think we might be getting at least 2/3 of the Shield back, because while this Monday Night Raw was ongoing, we got a YouTube video from WWE talking about the Shield, the complete history of the Shield. I remember just seeing the notification, so that was really funny to me. I was like, oh, funny, I'm probably going to watch this because I'm planning to do a Shield video on my second channel. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fun, that's fun. Oh shit, the Vision just broke up. That was kind of like what happened. I just deleted the notification and I looked up with my friend and I'm like, Bron Breakker just speared the shit out of Seth Rollins. What the fuck is going on? So yeah, there's some really interesting stuff. There's so many possibilities. Seth again might fall into depression. Bron Breakker might win the championship. Seth might stay a heel. He might turn face. Bron Breakker could be the face. Who knows? There's so much stuff. Seth could align himself with Roman Reigns. Nobody knows what's going on, and that's what's so fun about this. We can theorize, but nobody knows what's going to happen. The final prediction I have for all of this is that I think WrestleMania 42 is going to feature a match between Bron Breakker, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. And I'm really excited for that because I think it would be a great match. There could be such a great storyline, but yeah. What do you guys think? What's next for the Vision? What's next for Seth Rollins? Everyone involved. What's next for CM Punk? Because CM Punk now, kind of doesn't have his motivation anymore because Seth Rollins isn't in the future anymore. He's been turned on. Of course, turned on. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Because Bron Breakker is now kind of the main heel in the company. I'm really excited. Don't necessarily know what to think. I might do a more in-depth, more scripted, I guess, video. This is just me rambling later on. So yeah, again, let me know your thoughts down below and thank you.